What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to another leg day. JK, just kidding, but it is a leg day. So, we are moving on. We are in the rebuild stage where we're doing upper body. So, stay with me here. This split that I'm doing, this new split, is basically starting off the leg day. We're not just going to keep doing leg days going forward, but just seems to work out better this way. Safety bar squat here per usual. And now the goal is to overload and get stronger as I've gotten more confident with the injury. So that's the game plan going forward. We're not firing on all systems yet. We've got some calibration and stuff to do, some range of motion stuff to adjust, and then some lifts that we have to recondition ourselves to. I mentioned before in other previous videos, I am somebody who adapts quickly, but also detrains very quickly. So if I haven't done a lift in a while, it is like I've never done that lift before. And it is... my body has a weird reaction to it. It's, for some reason, I cannot get the range of motion down. I can't get the form down, and it takes a couple weeks for me to get back. It's the strangest thing ever, but if you think about it, it makes sense. If you can adapt to new stresses pretty quickly, it also means when you take that stress away, you're also going to adapt to no longer having that stress. So you're going to kind of see what I mean going forward here. You're not going to see the most impressive lifting, but we need to start from ground zero. We need to work back up and get to where we're going to be. And so this is new uncharted territory for me. This is literally a restart after 13 14 years of lifting, where I literally started with like a deadlift, just 135 and adding 5 pounds every week. So this is going to be something similar to that, where I'm going to have to start from basically ground zero and work my way up. And so luckily we've got the standard of the leg day that we can continue to fall back on to get some actual work in, because honestly, me talking about this video now, doing these upper body workouts, they don't really feel like workouts because the weights are so light and we're just going through the motions. So it kind of sucks. It doesn't feel like a workout, and it honestly feels like everything that I've trained against, which is being comfortable. But with any injury, it's always better to play it safe and work your way up to this heavier and heavier stuff. So that's what the game plan is to go forward. And like I said, uncharted territory. So whatever I learn here, I'm going to share with you. And hopefully we can make progress week after week, add weights. Maybe not get back to exactly where we're at anytime soon, but at least get the movements down to then build that base back up and reevaluate. So it's going to be a super humbling experience here. It's going to be new territory. It's going to be, let's figure out what works, what doesn't, what I should and shouldn't do anymore. And let's see what this human body can do. So it's going to be exciting. Stick along. We're going to go through some hardships. I'm going to share all that information here with you. And trust me, there were some hardships. As I'm recording this is about, I think, a week and a half, 2 weeks after. So I'm a little behind on videos. But once we get in the motion of actually doing stuff, and I'll get, the motivation to edit these videos and get them out. But again, thanks for sticking along if you've been, on this journey this whole time here. I think we're almost on episode 20 for the ER to PR. So we're going to graduate and kind of go from there. And it hasn't been the most interesting, but it's realistic. And sometimes reality isn't as interesting as you think it would be. So we're going to earn our stripes again. We're going to go through the trials and tribulations of everything to get back to where we're at. And we're just going to keep pushing forward. We're not going to push too hard. We don't want to tear anything. We're going to get back to a standard of, endurance and fitness we were at before, reincorporate all that stuff, and then try to surpass that and truly turn this into a PR. So, long story short, I'm just trying to talk to the leg stuff so you're not bored. Clicking on this video going, really, another leg day? So, again, thanks for sticking with. I guarantee you there's some more interesting stuff coming. Weight-wise, maybe not so much, but just some variety in what you're seeing. So, again, staples are going to change. I'm probably going to move around the split, so I'm not going to post the split now until I've decided what I want to do. There's still a few exercises I want to slowly reincorporate. And honestly, they're not significant enough with weights to require any programming. Specifically like the deadlift. I mean, I'm not going heavy on a deadlift anytime soon. But I do want to start at least getting the motions back down. That's been one of the more humbling things, especially with like bench press and stuff, has been relearning that. So, day 2 back in biceps. We are doing some rows and stuff. So, what you're about to see is probably the most pathetic I've ever looked, ever, in the longest amount of time. And learning to redo barbell rows after this injury without any sort of weight as feedback was harder than, doing the heaviest set of rows I've ever done. But I'm using the VersaGrips here just so I don't have to keep my thumb on the barbell, and we're starting super, super light. So it's going to take me some time to get my form back, feel comfortable. I should push my hips back. You'll see in these progressive videos, we're going to do things to kind of get back to where they are, but super light, somewhat controlled, and then just hopefully overload over time. And I'm doing these bent over just because I feel rowing from the floor to go from a dead stop, no tension. I feel that maintaining the tension throughout the lift is probably going to be a little bit safer for the bicep going forward. And then when we're a little bit more stable, have got some strength in both the lats and biceps, then we will, do more power related things. But I'm really having to relearn the movement pattern here, because with the row, it's more of like a J curve rather than straight up and down. Like, that's what really gets the lats involved. So one of the things that I like to do is pull with the elbows into your stomach. See how it's almost like a J? It's not a straight up and down, but you'll feel those lats fire. The higher up you go, like if you do like a Yates row, it's going to feel very less like the lats are involved. That tends to hit the rhomboids. Obviously, you're going to hit them just by virtue of the lift, but it's that motion with the elbow where you're pulling with the elbow. If you pull with your hand, so to speak, and you're really activating the biceps and triceps, you're really offloading a lot of that stress onto the lats. The lats are probably one of my better body parts, and I think they just grew just based off the connection. I started off doing a lot of deadlifts and rows, a lot of traditional barbell movements, because that's what I had access to when I first started training, and it's always carried over. So anything else that is a lat assistance machine, a lat pull down, a T-bar row, has been like spoiled for me, honestly, because it just makes the lift so much easier. I used to do T-bar rows from the ground with the landmine attachment, where you stack the plates and then you'd use like the V-bar or T-bar and then row it from there. So having a machine where you can just kind of plate load just makes it so much easier, but it does take some jerry-rigging to find the right range of motion. And with my super, super short torso, sometimes I have to remind myself to pull in a certain manner to hit the lats. And with the long arms that I have, it's very interesting with the short torso. It almost feels like it's overkill. Sometimes when I bench, it almost feels like my chest and shoulders will collapse internally on itself just because of that range of motion. So you'll see here in the lat pull down, there's not even enough weight on the lat pull down to balance out my lower body, so I'm kind of sitting at a weird angle. I would prefer to use the other one, which you'll see in other videos, but it was occupied. But in this workout, my goal was to just go through the motions real light, get some blood into the muscle, and feel what's kind of going on here. So with these rows here, again, these are movements I haven't done in a while, so really just trying to rebuild that mind-muscle connection, and then also balance out that, the injury on the left side to make sure I'm not putting myself in any compromising position. And it's mainly a mental thing. Like structurally, I'm good to go, and it's all on me. So every lift I'm doing, it looks like I'm struggling, but I'm really not. I'm really just struggling through the tension of the injury specifically. But bicep supination, bicep workouts are going to be super important with returning that range of motion. And I super, super felt that new insertion point with the tendon on the shoulder stuff. And I mean, that is going to be the biggest struggle, which I'll detail out. It's not even the bicep. It's the chain of the bicep leading up to the shoulder that I'm struggling with more than anything. And so it's going to be on me to kind of figure that out and work around it. And I'm totally okay with that. I'm going to just take it slow, light weights, lots of time under tension, and really go from there. And that's so different from how I've trained. So I'm going to have to relearn all that stuff. I'm used to pulling for power and strength, and that's how I've always been. But real light weights, slowing stuff down, trying to focus on the full range of motion. I have to continue to tell myself, let everything all the way down. But the way that my arms are, I almost get a full contraction or a full stretch in the bicep at about 3/4 extension, like right there. And I think that comes from being tight and everything too, though. So really just, focusing on that. And then just, you could call these pink dumbbells if you want to, just real light on the supination. That supination in the left arm is just abysmal compared to the right. So that will be majority of the work that I'm looking to do and kind of put in. So you're going to see a lot of stuff like this. You'll see the lifting and stuff too, though. But we've got some work to do. We're rebuilding. Stick around. This is probably the content a lot of you more are looking forward to. So, like I said, like, comment, subscribe, stick around. We're going to build back up and get better. Thanks for watching the latest video. If you want to help support the channel, I actually own my own wet shaving and grooming e-commerce website where everything's handmade by me. It's www.apexsoaps.com, and you can get a 10% off code using wet shaver. We've got some cool scents here. We've got some Coca-Cola scents, a horchata scent, traditional barbershop, just some really cool stuff. And you can purchase samples or you can buy the whole set. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out via email. Be quick to respond. Thanks for watching.